Homeschooling Life. It's Lauren with you here again today. And we're continuing on with my curriculum choices for all of my kids for the 2024-2025 school year. Today, I'm going to be sharing my high schoolers. I have a 10th grader and a 9th grader this year. So 2 high schoolers, and so I'm going to combine my choices for them because they will be doing a lot of the same thing. I kind of tailored this knowing that last year, my son being in 8th grade and my daughter being in 9th grade then, they did a few things together, but the plan was, especially as my son stepped into high school, that they would do a lot of the same things together. So while last year my daughter in 9th grade, I did a few things that were more electives or choices that she wanted on her transcript or that I wanted on her transcript, and gave her a different kind of year. That way when she came into her 10th grade year and he's obviously going into 9th grade, that they would be doing a lot of these things together. And they also will be doing several of these with Amanda's oldest, Riley. She is also going into the 9th grade. And so there's just a few things that they're going to be doing together. So we're just going to jump right into it, and we're going to talk about math to start off. So I'll start with my daughter. So my daughter, this last year, I think I shared in my curriculum choices for last year that we were going to be using Shorman math for high school. And we did some of the trial things, and my son did pre-algebra last year, just where we were in his math journey. I wanted him to have a good foundation, especially switching from we had switched math curriculums a few times and we went from Saxon, and then I wanted him to have a good foundation in pre-algebra. So he did pre-algebra, but my daughter was already ready to go into Algebra 1. And so she tried Shorman, and she decided that it was not for her. And I will say that while I don't always cater to every child, like different things, we do tend to stick to a lot of the same things that works for our family, has worked well. Math has always been a little bit of a struggle for her. She does not enjoy math at all. And so I let her choose. And she chose teaching textbooks, Algebra 1. And so we actually had the physical copy, not the digital, the 4.0. This is the 2.0, so this is pretty, this is like the disc and stuff. So we owned this already. It was a hand-me-down from my mom, actually. And so we used this one, and she's really had a good math year with it. She enjoyed it, and so we decided to just stick with it and move her on. She's actually going to do Algebra 2 this next year for her 10th grade year, which anyway, I'll talk about that in a minute. And along with that, we're gonna do this book, Understanding Geometry by the Critical Thinking Company. And I think these, of course, this is Algebra 1. She'll be doing Algebra 2, and we don't own a copy of the older disc of the Algebra 2, so I think we're just going to do the online version of it. And I think along with that, while we interweave this just geometry program, I think this will cover her geometry credit as well. And this might take her, between the two, it might take her a little bit longer than just this year. But my goal is hopefully, even into her 11th grade year, hopefully she'll be getting all 3 credits and get them done. That way, when she finishes these, the Algebra 2, this geometry, the only thing I think that she'll have that's like a required credit after that for her will be, she'll probably do like a personal finance and maybe a consumer math is what we're leaning towards, and then she will be done with that. So for her, this is what's working, this is what's going to work. So that's what we're using. And for my son, he did the Shorman pre-algebra. He did really well with it. We love the course, so he will be using Shorman Algebra 1 with geometry. So with Shorman, they combine their algebra and their geometry together, so you get a full credit of full credit of algebra this year and a half credit of geometry. And next year he'll be doing Algebra 2 with geometry. and he will have all 3 by the end of his 10th grade year. So that is our math curriculum. That's what we're going to be doing with our high schoolers for math. So now that we've got that taken care of, I think we'll move on to science. So last year we kind of had almost like a gap year, I would call it, for my daughter in high school science, but not really. She did the Apologia Health and Anatomy, or Health and Nutrition, I think is what it's called. Sorry, Health and Nutrition, although it does have some, anatomy in it. So she did that, and that was a health credit, but it is a hefty health curriculum, I will say that. So I gave her that year to do that, to get that health credit, and just to be her science for the year. And then she also joined in with us. We did just our family units of science all together, and we used the Good and the Beautiful mostly for that. So my son, all of my boys from there down did those. So she joined in with that. So knowing we would be going into this year using Apologia's biology. So Olivia, my oldest, Noah, and Riley will all be doing this for their science this year. So we are using Apologia. We kind of looked at a few different curriculums, and this is the one we decided to go for. I really enjoyed the Apologia Health and Nutrition, and we've used Apologia's like Young Explorers, some of those books in the past, and I just think they have a great curriculum. So we have their student notebooks. I have one of these for each of my students. They'll be using these. And we also have purchased a microscope, the lab slides that you can get through Apologia, the dissection kit, and just all of the experiment things. So they will be getting a biology credit along with the lab credit that goes along with that. So this is going to be a very full and robust science curriculum for this year, and we are excited about using it. And so yeah, so a big year for them in science. I think they're going to be doing a lot with science and math and just getting these credits in. I know Amanda shared in one of our more recent videos before this about how her daughter is doing her credits to be NCAA certified, because her daughter has chosen to play sports through the school and wants to be prepared to possibly play sports in college. And so we have one child in particular right now, my 9th grader, that is also a possibility or a goal that he may have. So I'm also preparing, as you look through all of these, I'm thinking along those lines as I'm making choices specifically for him, and sorry, and probably for possibly some of my future students as well. So thinking through that as I make choices for this year. So that is our math and our science for the year. Okay, I think the next thing we'll talk about is we'll do history. So this is one thing I waffled back and forth on, and Amanda and I actually went on a shopping trip together, like a curriculum shopping trip, went to a local homeschool curriculum store that we have in our area, and also a Mardell's. I don't know if y'all have those in your area, but they also sell homeschool curriculum. And we just looked over a lot of different things, and we've always done history together as a family. I think both of our families really have. That's always been a family group subject. But for high school this year, we did American history last year, and we kind of catered that as a whole family subject I added books and, literature and other things to my high schoolers so that they could have that American history credit. But this year, we're going to be doing world history. And while with my younger ones, we'll be using a different curriculum, and I'll talk about that in my group subjects video that's coming out. Theirs will be possibly at a slower pace, but with our bigger ones, we wanted them to have this credit. And so we're going to be using the Masterbooks High School World History curriculum, and it comes with the student sheets book and lesson plan, and it has this book. This is I'll just kind of show you the inside. This is like the textbook style But it's very colorful, and the kids are excited about doing it. Both of my high schoolers have looked through it, and they're excited about using this. And I think Amanda and I are going to kind of base our younger kids walking through at least most of the way through as they study what area they're studying in world history. We'll just use like Story of the World or Mystery of History with our younger ones to coincide with that. And so that is what they're going to be doing for history. They will be getting a world history credit this year. So another credit for high school. And then this is something, I'm going to share it, but it's still something that I'm going back and forth on. We've always done geography along with our history, and especially through Story of the World, we've done maps and things like that go along with it. And so this year, I wasn't sure exactly what we were going to do to give them a geography, I'm sure combined through all their high school, I would definitely be giving them a geography credit. I think like a half credit for world geography. We've done a lot of map things. And so that was kind of where I was leaning, but I also already own this Abeka World Geography, and this is, I believe, what they would do in their 9th grade year. And so it's just a kind of a textbook, but it just walks you through all kind of the basics of geography and the world. And so I'm leaning towards just giving this to my high schoolers, and like this may change, so this may be something that I adapt and we just do geography all together again. I'm not sure. But I'm leaning towards giving this to them to use as their geography. I think it's like a half credit for world geography. And I would just they would have this along with, I think there's like, it gives you instructions to like have a map. There's maps in this book. And then we also own like world maps, and we own a book of maps that I can a reproducible book that I can print out. And so they're just kind of labeling and seeing where these places are and around the world. And it just breaks down and talks about all the different countries and continents and areas of the world. So this is something, mostly I'm just looking into their course load as we slowly work our way into the year. What is too much? And even if they made it a little bit into this, if we just pull this book out 1 or 2 times a week possibly, and it carries over into next year, I would be fine with that. That would just be a credit that they, would earn over the next few years. So that is a possible addition to our school this year. Okay, and now another elective real quick. I'm just going to kind of do this before I get to some of the bigger things. So they are both going to be doing Spanish 1 through BJU Press, and we are using the online video course. They sent us the textbook, the student handouts, and this is an activities manual. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little bit of a glare, but an activities manual. And then they will sign into I believe it's called the Homeschool Hub online, and they will do their Spanish class with a teacher on there. I took a year, I might have taken 2 years, I can't even remember now. I know I did Spanish 1, I might have done Spanish 2, but I cannot speak Spanish, and so this is something that I definitely wanted to outsource. So it also came with the Spanish dictionary. So we're excited. This will be our first time to use the BJU's online resources and their distance learning. So we're excited about trying this for Spanish, and I hope it's a good year. If it is, we'll probably use this next year and do Spanish 2 as well. So this is our other elective. They will be taking Spanish 1. And to finish it out, my daughter with electives, my daughter will be having her fine arts because she does piano, and she'll be doing that for another year. My son is in athletics, and he will be getting his half credit for that because he does football, and that's kind of a year-round sport at the school. They're always either in season, or they're in off-season workouts, or they're in summer. It's intense when you get into high school. At least it is here where we are. So he will be continuing on with that, and as of this year, that's the only sport that I know he's doing for sure, but there's a possibility that he may pick up you know, another one with the school or one of our local sports or something. He didn't play baseball this last year, but he has played baseball most of the other years, and so in the spring there's a possibility he could do baseball too. And my daughter, also, I'm giving her half credit for personal fitness. She's been most faithfully through the school year. She uses a workout program online and does a lot of, you know, a fitness program. So that will be their electives. So let's move on now to their language arts, another big thing here. So this is all encompassing grammar, writing, and literature. So the big change that I'm going to be using, not really a change, but something we're going to try, is Write Shop for writing. So this is Write Shop 1 and 2, the teacher's manual. We are going to be using both of these this year. This is a copy of the student handouts. This is for one, and this is from Demi Learning. So you're thinking like Matthew C. Company. I'm assuming that's who it's lined up with. So we're going to try this program. So right now we're going to do 1 and then hopefully do 2 next year. They can be done in 1 year. So, but I'm leaning towards doing them in 2 years right now, the 1 and 2. And I don't know a whole lot about this curriculum. I haven't had it for very long, so this is something that I just read some reviews on and saw some things. And writing is something we definitely need to be working on for my high schoolers. We could definitely be putting some more emphasis on it right now, and even for my middle schooler and stuff, that's going to be a big emphasis in our home. But I also wanted something that like was just kind of open and go with it, and this is what I was looking at, and I liked what I saw, and so that's what we're going to use for writing this year. And I'm hoping everything goes good. We also own like IEW writing units and things like that too, so if something happened and we just were like, this is not going to work for us, or something, we might, you know, reevaluate and pick back up later. So we'll see. But right now, Write Shop is what we think we're going to be using, what I know we're going to be starting off with and using for the year. But along with that, I'm still going to be keeping Fix It Grammar. My daughter, this is just, I believe, yeah, student book or teacher's book for 5. And so my son will be picking up with this book. I believe this is the one. He might be on 4, but I believe it's 5. She was finishing up this one, and then there's one more, 6, and I think it's The Little Mermaid maybe, or something like that. So this is just Fix It Grammar. I've showed it with my other kids. It's a sentence a day, and they break it down and do the parts of speech. We really like Fix It Grammar. We've went away from it in the past and come back to it, but I like it. And I think, she will be finishing it this year. So this will be her last year of using it, and my son will probably still do it next year possibly. But Fix It Grammar is just an addition that we like to add to our language arts, and I think it's a great thing. So there is grammar in Write Shop as well. They really incorporate it really well. They call it skill builders into the writing and stuff. So they will be getting it from both, but it's not too much on either one. So just the right combination, I believe. And along with that, and I'm just going to share this because I'll be talking about it in our group subjects, but I bought this, Our Mother Tongue, and this is actually an older edition. There's a little bit newer one, but they haven't changed a whole lot. And so this is just by Nancy Wilson, A Guide to English Grammar, and it's just each lesson breaks down each parts of speech and walks you through it. And so we're adding this into like our morning time group subjects, and we're just going to kind of walk through just all of the different parts of grammar and things like that. Like I said, it's a big writing year, a big grammar and literature year for our family. It's one of our main focuses, so that we're going to work on. And so this is, I'll talk about this more when I get to our group subjects, but if you can kind of see how I'm building a English credit for my 9th and 10th graders. So along with that, they are going to be doing literature as well. So with literature, we've always just kind of picked our own just different books, and we've never really used a literature curriculum. But I was watching a video recently, a curriculum choices video. I believe it was by Pennies and Salt. I will link the video below, and just her curriculum choices. And I saw her sharing what I believe was this book. There's actually some different options, but this is called Great Christian Stories, Essential Literature for Christian Students by the company is Generations. So this is just it's just a guide, and it just has vocabulary exercises and study questions and things. But what I was really excited about was the 3 books that they walk through. So it's Robinson Crusoe, The Holy War by John Bunyan, and The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom. So this was one book that we did not get to last year that I definitely wanted for my daughter during our American history unit. We did not read The Hiding Place. I wanted this to be one of our top priorities for this year in literature, for her to read this, and for my son, of course. So they're going to walk through this book and these 3. I still have to order The Holy War, and we have Robinson Crusoe, but it's actually in my at my husband's office. He keeps a lot of his books down there. And so we have several of those, so I just need to get one more. But they will be reading and walking through this book. And then on top of this, because that's 3 books, they're going to be reading more than 3 books, but I just wanted just to go in depth with some of those books because I think they have such great content, and just if they're just doing this, and I believe this program is like 2 days a week you work on this, so they're going to be reading in their other time. Now my daughter, and Amanda's the oldest, did our book club last year together. They loved it. It was a big hit in our house, and in their house, you know, us moms read with our girls. So we're still planning to do that, and so we haven't picked out our books or anything for that. So we'll be doing that. So I recently picked up this book. It's 50 Christian Classics. So 50 different books that, this is by Master Books, and I actually thrifted this, but it's on their website if you want to find it there. And it just has some, of course, 50 books, and then just some different questions, discussion questions, and maybe some vocabulary or different things to go along with each one. So if they're reading a book, I might pull this out and we'll use this for some like narration and questions to go along with it, and pick from that. We have tons of classics. My husband collects a lot of the classic books, so I just pulled a few off. This is Dracula. This might be one my son, by Bram Stoker, that he might be interested in. My husband really enjoyed this book. Another one we did not get to last year, Up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington. Another one I would like my kids to read, possibly, Animal Farm by George Orwell. Those are some I've just set aside for them to choose from. We also own this. This is Julius Caesar by Shakespeare, and since we're going to be doing world history, I thought this one might be, they could just read a Shakespeare play, possibly. So that would be one. And then we have several of these YWAM publishing biographies. These are a pretty easy read, as you can see. They're not hard, but they are great stories of men of faith and men of history, and men and women of faith and history. So they are just, we just have several that we've read a lot together as a family and through the years, and we may do some as read alouds, but I probably will hand some to my high schoolers to read, and they could read that definitely in like a week or two for sure. So that is what I'm leaning towards to kind of build up my English literature credit for my high schoolers this year. And to round it all out, we're going to talk about their Bible, and I shared this with some of my younger ones, how I want to start off our day. Once the school year starts, my son will be back to like afternoon practices, so we will have our mornings free. And so my goal is for all of us to sit down and do our Bible studies and stuff first thing in the morning. And so I'm giving my 2 high schoolers this Fundamentals of the Faith by John MacArthur. This is by Moody Publishing, 13 Lessons to Grow in the Grace and Knowledge of Jesus Christ. So it's the introduction by John MacArthur. I think it may have been put together by their ministry, but it's just a great, I guess you could say, foundation in what we believe. And so I'm going to give this to my kids, and we're going to just walk through it. I'm not in a rush. I just want them to go through this. And along with that, and we may pull some other Bible studies if they go through that pretty quickly. And I have a copy as well that I've actually done this study in the past, many years ago, but I will probably pull my copy back out and just kind of go through it with them and just have great discussion. I think anytime your kids are doing something and you can, just be thinking along the same lines or thinking about the same things. I've done that some with their literature, and hopefully with Bible this year, that's something else we can do as well. How to read the Bible for all it's worth. This is something that we may be pulling out either together, or I may assign them to read little bits on their own throughout the year. I saw this on Abby at Rooted and Rest, and so this is just a breakdown on how to read and study your Bible. So anyway, that is another thing that I've pulled from and hope to use some. And then along with that, my hope in their literature, depending on how much we do this year and how many books they read and different things, this is another book. This would be Bible, but also just something I want them to do for literature. This is 3 books by A.W. Tozer: The Pursuit of God, The Pursuit of Man, and The Crucified Life. And I have read The Pursuit of God, but it has been many years ago. And so I picked this up, and I just thought this would not be, it's not extremely hard. Now, breaking it down and the thought process and all that may be a little bit harder, but it's not like a hefty read. Of course, this is 3 books, so in one. And so this is something that I would like my high schoolers to read. Now, we may only get through one of these books, and it may be something we read through their high school years as well. And I'm sure through the years I'm going to find more literature, see things that I really want them to read. And we'll just add it to our book list and our book log. But as of right now, this is their 10th and 9th grade high school years. This is the plan. This is what we're doing for this year. I'm just checking my list to make sure I covered everything, but I think that's it. And we're very excited. This high school journey, the beginning of it was this last year with my daughter, and stepping into it with my son now, and them doing a lot of these things together. It's exciting, and I'm excited to walk with them on this journey. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them. Amanda and I are going to be walking this road together, so I'm sure that we will be figuring things out as we go. And we hope that you've enjoyed this video and the videos that we've been putting out during this back to school time and curriculum. Everyone's sharing their curriculum. And so if you did enjoy it, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you here with us, and we hope to see you here again soon. Bye, guys.